Oh yes, YouTube! Welcome to my channel. Today is a very special day. It is the anniversary of Captain Marvel's release. I get asked so many questions about Captain Marvel, so I thought, why not celebrate this day by digging into all the things that you've thought about but were afraid to ask me about Captain Marvel. Oh my gosh. I honestly can't believe I just did like a double. I have to live with myself all the time. You guys only have to deal with it like once a week. Let's start at the very, very beginning. One of the first questions I get asked is, what was it like to find out that you were going to play Captain Marvel? I remember there was, a phone call with my agent and manager. I was sitting in my house staring at my I think it was like a $10 bookshelf I had gotten from Goodwill. I remember talking through everything with them and I just couldn't find a reason to not do it. It seemed like I was destined to do it. And so I just remember holding the phone and staring at the bookshelf going, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do this. We cannot forget, but then I couldn't tell anybody. So it wasn't like there was some big celebration or I called all my friends or I called my mom and I was like, ah! I say this all to say, because I know I've said it before, but I will say it again because it's so important to me, is that if you are watching this right now and you are somebody that struggles, perhaps struggled with social anxiety, depression, or just as somebody that is shy, quiet, these are all things that I identify with as myself, and it doesn't mean it has to be a limitation in any way. You can still accomplish great things and also have those be part of you. It's cool. How long did it take to film Captain Marvel? I think it was like a 75-day shoot. I was filming Endgame before that, so the whole process felt kind of like longer. It felt like I was filming the movie for a year because of that. And with that, it's long hours. I think that's one aspect of being on set that people don't realize, or in particular being an actor that I think people don't realize, is that our baseline is a 12-hour day. Oh, and with that, where did we shoot it? We shot it in Los Angeles, which was really interesting. When we talk about movies, in particular big movies, we like to throw around the term Hollywood, but we very rarely shoot in Hollywood. So it was cool to get to be in my own bed. What makes a Marvel film different than other films? So for me, coming from independent film, what's the difference between an independent film and shooting Captain Marvel? And the answer is everything and nothing. It's still the same pieces, right? It's I'm the actor and I do this, and we have cameras and we have lights and we have locations, and things go wrong and things go right. Magical things happen, things suck, whatever. It's all that stuff's the same. Listen, I'm gonna take the same amount of care, I'm gonna do the same thing that I know how to do, and just apply it to this thing that's bigger than me. I'm a huge fan of Disneyland. I don't know if I've made that clear on this channel before, but I'll just say it now. I love Disneyland. To go to work, and work means being flown up on wires, or getting to be on a moving train, or simulate something in a spaceship. It's like being on a ride at Disneyland, but it's your job. Was Goose a real cat? Yes and no. I think there was 6 cats that make up one Goose, because each cat knows a different trick, was my understanding. I didn't have a ton of interaction with Goose, the many forms of Goose, because I am severely allergic to cats. We also had a fake goose, a robotic goose, that was kind of trippy. It looked really real, and it had a robotic diaphragm so that it can breathe. Script. People ask me about the script, do I get a script ahead of time? Do I know what I'm shooting? Yes, I get a script ahead of time. I know what it is that I'm doing. Of course, we come up with stuff on the day. Sometimes you're there in the moment and you realize that maybe there's an alt line, which is just an alternative to what's on the script that we come up with on the day that seems funnier or more interesting or more truthful. So there's still room to play. It's not just because there's a script, it's well, it has to be this. I guess to clarify, it's I know only my part. When I went to the premiere and saw the film for the first time, that was when I truly saw what was happening. And I didn't really know what had happened in Infinity War. I didn't know who was snapped or anything. I didn't even know what the snap was, honestly. They kept that all super under wraps. Another thing I get asked is, what was the hardest thing to shoot in Captain Marvel? What was the hardest physical scene? What was the hardest emotional scene? Honestly, probably the hardest scene for me was doing the fight sequence on the train, because it was the first 3 days of shooting. So my first 3 days on set as Captain Marvel on the film Captain Marvel was doing like judo throws of my fellow stunt team members on a moving train. And then the hardest emotional scene at the end of the film, when Carol realizes that she's been tricked and that she's been made to believe that the Skrulls are bad when really they're seeking refuge, and coming to terms with that and apologizing for the wrongs that she's done. How long did I prep for Captain Marvel? I prepped, I think in all it was 9 months. I'm forever grateful for like all the characters I've played because they've allowed me to like think about things, about how things sit in my body and how I express myself. But with Carol, it was just different. It was different because she is inspirational, I think. She is somebody that is like holding a space that I look to as like, I want to get there. I am not there, but I want to get there. Connected to the prep. People ask me about stunts. Did I do my own stunts? What's it like to do your own stunts? Stunts are so much fun. It's full on choreography, but with like power and like grit. That was where I started to learn how to embody her. It's not just knowing how to throw a punch or throw a kick, which was really fun, but also like how to stand, how to hold myself, how to turn around, like all of these things that like it makes sense, right? Like you watch these movies and you see people do these like, whoa, like gives you chills, right? When a superhero does like a cool turnaround or something. I didn't have that living in me, so I had to be taught how to do that. I guess to finish it up, I guess I could touch on what it feels like now. I've changed so much, I've grown so much, and so I'm really excited to see what I can bring to Carol and the Captain Marvel sequel now with, you know, who I am now. To see how all of you have embraced Carol and taken her on and used her as a symbol for whatever it is. If there's difficulties that are going on in your life, moments of strength that you need that you can pull from this character and find something, whether it's a line from the film or from the comics, that has been absolutely remarkable and incredible, and I'm excited to keep expanding on that. In terms of the sequel, one of the things I get asked a lot is if there's anything I can tell you about the sequel. And the thing I can tell you is that I can't tell you anything. I might start doing more of these in terms of like things that people always ask me about, and I'll do different topics or categories. I am curious in terms of like acting stuff or auditions, if I can be of service in any way, answer your questions there. Doesn't mean that I have all the answers to everything, but I can at least offer some perspective on certain things if there's ways that I can, offer you some of my experiences. Happy birthday, Captain Marvel! Thanks for celebrating this day with me. Hope you feel happy and safe in your body. Much love. See you next week.